65. 5 fishes you must eat, and 5 you should never touch. Over 65. 5 types of fish you should never touch, and 5 you should eat every week. Have you ever sat down to enjoy a beautiful piece of fish, believing you were doing something good for your heart and brain, only to discover later that what was on your plate might actually be harming both? The truth is unsettling. Some of the fish most people consider healthy are quietly loading the body with toxins, damaging brain cells, and accelerating aging without obvious warning signs. Recent studies from Harvard Medical School and the National Institute of Neurological Disorders reveal that seniors who regularly consume high mercury fish have up to a 70% higher risk of memory loss, fatigue, and cardiovascular complications within just 5 years. What looks fresh, tender, and harmless on a dinner plate can in fact become the silent culprit behind declining energy, foggy thinking, and weakened immunity. In today's video, we will uncover the 5 most dangerous fish to avoid and the 5 truly life-giving ones to add to your diet. Before we begin, leave a comment below to tell us where you are watching from and stay with us until the end, because knowing what to eat and what not to eat could change the way you nourish your body for the years to come. Now, let's start with part 1, the 5 fish you should never touch. Number 1, swordfish, the silent memory thief. Imagine sitting at a seaside restaurant, a beautiful swordfish steak sizzling on the plate, the aroma promising a perfect, heart-healthy meal. It looks like the picture of strength, thick, meaty, elegant. But for anyone over 65, that single serving could quietly set off a chain of changes inside the body that may take years to reveal themselves. That is the unsettling truth about swordfish. Beneath its beauty lies an invisible danger: mercury, one of the most toxic metals known to science. Swordfish sits high on the ocean's food chain, meaning it feeds on hundreds of smaller fish throughout its long life. Each small fish adds a trace of mercury to the predator's body, and by the time swordfish reaches a market counter, it carries a concentration high enough to harm the human nervous system. The Environmental Protection Agency and the Food and Drug Administration have both classified swordfish among the most mercury-contaminated fish on the planet. Studies from Neurology Today and the Journal of Environmental Health show that older adults with elevated blood mercury levels have up to a 38% higher risk of memory loss and a 70% greater risk of cardiovascular complications within 5 years. To picture what happens, think of mercury as a slow leak inside the brain's wiring. It doesn't cause immediate pain, but it quietly damages the insulation that protects nerve cells. Over time, signals between brain regions slow down. Memory lapses become more frequent. Energy fades. Mood changes appear. Some seniors even describe it as feeling like the lights dimmed in my head. The liver and kidneys, which help the body filter toxins, work less efficiently with age, allowing mercury to build up even faster. One retired school teacher from Oregon, Mrs. Judith Palmer, age 71, shared her experience. She had eaten grilled swordfish twice a month for years because she believed it was lean and heart-friendly. Over time, she noticed increasing fatigue and forgetfulness. Her physician ordered a heavy metal test, which revealed mercury levels nearly triple the recommended limit. When she eliminated swordfish and switched to wild salmon and sardines, her energy and focus gradually returned. Her story is not rare, it is simply unspoken. Still, there is no need for fear, only awareness. The ocean remains full of safe and nourishing choices. Small, short-lived fish, such as sardines, trout, and herring, naturally contain very little mercury because they live closer to the surface and feed on plankton, not other fish. Choosing these species protects the body while preserving all the benefits of seafood. Always consult a doctor or registered dietitian before making major dietary changes, especially if taking medication or managing chronic illness. In later life, health depends on wisdom more than willpower. Just as one would not pour polluted water into a garden, it is unwise to fill the body with food that silently poisons its most precious organ, the mind. Avoiding swordfish is not deprivation. It is an act of self-respect, a quiet promise to keep memory clear and the heart strong for all the years still waiting to be lived. Number 2, farmed catfish, tradition turned toxic. In the heart of the American South, catfish has always been more than food. It is memory, heritage, and Sunday gatherings by the riverbank. Plates of golden, crispy fillets once symbolized comfort and family. Yet the catfish of today is not the same fish that grandfathers pulled from clean Mississippi waters. The difference lies beneath the surface. Modern farming has quietly altered what was once a symbol of wholesome simplicity into a source of silent harm. Farmed catfish are raised by the millions in crowded ponds where water barely circulates. To keep them alive, many producers rely on antibiotics and chemical treatments. Instead of feeding on natural river life, these fish consume processed pellets made from soy, corn, and even industrial byproducts. The result is a fish that no longer nourishes the human heart as nature intended. Studies from the Environmental Protection Agency and the University of Arkansas have shown that farm-raised catfish contain far fewer omega-3 fatty acids and significantly higher levels of omega-6 fats, the kind linked to inflammation, joint pain, and elevated blood pressure. In older adults, this imbalance can accelerate arthritis and weaken the heart's rhythm over time. The body's reaction to these altered fats is subtle at first: a little stiffness in the knees, a restless night's sleep, a heavy feeling after a meal. Over months and years, however, the effects deepen. Chronic inflammation becomes the quiet architect of decline, setting the stage for fatigue, memory lapses, and cardiovascular strain. Researchers at Wake Forest University call this the hidden fire of aging, a process fueled not by stress or genetics alone, but by daily diet choices. A story from a small town in Alabama illustrates this truth. A retired veteran in his late 60s continued his weekly tradition of frying farmed catfish for the entire family. His doctor later discovered unusually high inflammatory markers during a routine checkup. After learning about the difference between farmed and wild fish, he began buying wild-caught catfish from a local fisherman and baking it instead of deep frying. Within a few months, his blood pressure stabilized, his energy returned, and the family still gathered every Sunday, proof that traditions can be preserved without sacrificing health. Culture and wellness need not be at odds. America's rivers still offer clean, wild catfish that feed both body and soul. When purchased from trusted local sources and cooked gently, grilled, baked, or stewed, the same meal that once brought families together can continue to do so, only now with wisdom on the plate. Before making dietary adjustments, consult a physician or nutrition professional to ensure that any changes complement existing health needs. True Southern cooking has always been about care and community, not convenience. By honoring that spirit, it is possible to taste nostalgia without consuming the toxins of modern shortcuts. Farmed catfish may have lost its purity, but the tradition of nourishment can be reclaimed one thoughtful choice at a time. Number 3. King Mackerel, the hidden time bomb. Few fish look as healthy as mackerel, gleaming silver and sleek, the kind you imagine fueling a strong heart and sharp mind. But among its many species hides a dangerous impostor, king mackerel, one of the most mercury-contaminated fish in American waters. What appears to be a smart choice for seniors trying to eat heart-healthy can, in truth, accelerate aging and quietly harm the very organs it's meant to protect. According to the Food and Drug Administration and Environmental Protection Agency, king mackerel ranks among the top 3 fish, highest in mercury, often testing higher than swordfish. Mercury, though invisible, is one of the most potent neurotoxins known to science. In the aging body, where detoxification slows and nerve repair declines, its impact can be profound. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders found that older adults with elevated mercury levels show up to 50% more brain shrinkage over 5 years compared to those with minimal exposure. That translates to slower thinking, memory gaps, tremors, and emotional instability that many mistake for just getting old. Think of mercury like rust in the body's electrical wiring. It doesn't break the circuit instantly. It corrodes quietly, meal after meal. A grilled steak of king mackerel once in a while may seem harmless, yet for someone over 65, it can gradually burden the brain, heart, and kidneys. Studies from the American Heart Association reveal that seniors exposed to high mercury levels also face a 70% greater risk of heart attacks and irregular heartbeat. One true story still lingers in memory. A retired coach from Florida, proud of his seaside diet, ate king mackerel twice a week for years, believing it was good for the ticker. When fatigue, tremors, and short-term memory issues began affecting his golf game, his physician ordered blood tests. The mercury concentration was nearly triple the safe limit. After removing king mackerel from his meals and switching to Atlantic mackerel, a smaller, clean species, his symptoms eased and his energy slowly returned. The good news is that not all mackerel are created equal. Atlantic mackerel and Pacific chub mackerel are safe, rich in omega-3 seconds, and naturally low in mercury because they live shorter lives and feed low on the food chain. These are the varieties that truly support brain and heart health. Before changing diet, always seek guidance from a doctor or nutrition specialist, especially for those managing chronic heart or kidney conditions. The lesson is not to fear the ocean, but to respect its balance. The sea gives generously, yet wisdom lies in knowing which of its gifts nourish and which quietly harm. Choosing smaller, wild-caught fish such as Atlantic mackerel, sardines, or trout is a decision not just of nutrition, but of legacy, a way to honor the years ahead by protecting the mind and heart that carry a lifetime of memories. Number 4. Farmed Atlantic salmon, the beautiful deception. Few foods have earned such a glowing reputation as salmon. It is praised on television, highlighted on restaurant menus, and recommended by countless diet plans as a heart-healthy staple. Yet behind the soft pink flesh of most salmon sold in American supermarkets lies a story far less wholesome than the advertisements suggest. Farmed Atlantic salmon, though it looks the same as its wild counterpart, carries hidden dangers that grow more serious with age. The problem begins with where and how it is raised. In cold coastal pens off Norway, Chile, Canada, and Scotland, millions of salmon live packed tightly together in confined cages. Disease spreads rapidly in these conditions, forcing farmers to use antibiotics, pesticides, and synthetic dyes to keep the fish alive and attractive to consumers. Because these salmon eat processed feed made from corn and vegetable oil rather than marine life, their natural fat balance changes dramatically. Instead of containing mostly omega-3 seconds that reduce inflammation, farmed salmon develops a much higher level of omega-6 fats, the very kind that trigger inflammation throughout the body. Researchers from the University of Bergen and Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health have confirmed that farmed salmon can contain up to 5 times more inflammatory compounds and nearly 3 times more pollutants such as PCBs and dioxins than wild-caught Alaskan salmon. These toxins do not stay in the fish. They accumulate in human tissues, particularly the liver and fat cells. In older adults, this can accelerate cellular aging, weaken immune defenses, and contribute to conditions like high blood pressure, joint pain, and even mild cognitive decline. A 2023 study published in Food and Chemical Toxicology reported that seniors who consumed farmed salmon twice a month had a 25% higher lifetime risk of developing cancer-related complications compared to those who ate only wild salmon. The danger is invisible but cumulative, building meal after meal. There is also an unsettling truth about its color. Wild salmon gets its deep coral hue naturally from eating krill rich in astaxanthin, a potent antioxidant. Farmed salmon, deprived of this diet, is gray. To mimic nature, producers add synthetic pigments to the feed, industrial compounds whose long-term effects on human health remain unclear. This illusion of freshness hides an industrial process that transforms a once pure food into something manufactured. Still, there is a path back to safety. Wild-caught salmon from Alaska, Washington, or the Pacific Northwest remains one of the most powerful natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants known to science. It supports brain function, reduces inflammation, and strengthens the heart with every serving. Even frozen wild salmon retains these benefits. For older adults, replacing farmed salmon with wild-caught varieties is a simple yet profound act of self-care. Before making dietary changes, always consult a physician or registered dietitian, particularly if managing chronic illness. With proper guidance, salmon can return to being a symbol of vitality rather than risk. The lesson runs deeper than diet. Modern life often disguises convenience as health, But wisdom is the ability to see through that disguise. Choosing wild salmon is choosing authenticity, real nourishment from the ocean that still reflects the rhythm of nature, untouched and honest. Number 5, canned tuna, the convenient mistake. Every year, Americans open more than 1 billion cans of tuna, believing it to be a quick, lean, and reliable source of protein. Yet what many don't realize is that a single can may contain enough mercury to exceed the weekly safety limit set by the Environmental Protection Agency. For older adults, that harmless-looking sandwich or salad topping can quietly become one of the most dangerous items in the kitchen. Mercury is a heavy metal that behaves like a slow poison. It has no taste, no smell, and no warning sign until the damage is already underway. Large tuna species such as albacore or yellowfin accumulate mercury during their long journeys across the ocean as they feed on smaller fish. Each meal adds another trace of this toxic metal, and over years of life, the levels inside their bodies rise dramatically. When those fish are canned, that mercury becomes part of what ends up on the plate. A 2024 analysis by the Environmental Working Group found that albacore tuna contains, on average, 0.35 parts per million of mercury, enough that a 5-ounce serving can surpass the recommended limit for seniors threefold. In the body, mercury moves silently into the bloodstream, crossing into the brain and nervous system where it binds to neurons, interfering with their ability to communicate. For older adults, whose bodies process toxins more slowly, the consequences can be serious: memory loss, fatigue, tremors, and imbalance. Researchers from the National Institutes of Health have linked long-term mercury exposure with a 35% increase in the risk of cardiovascular disease and nearly double the rate of mild cognitive impairment. There are real people behind these statistics. In California, a retired engineer in his 70s who ate canned tuna nearly every day began noticing shaking hands and mild confusion. Believing it was simply aging, he didn't think much of it until a neurologist tested his blood and found mercury levels 6 times higher than normal. After eliminating tuna and switching to sardines and light skipjack varieties, his symptoms gradually eased within months. His story reminds that the body always tries to heal when given the chance. Yet not all tuna is unsafe. The danger depends on size and species. Light tuna, usually made from smaller skipjack fish, carries much lower mercury levels, about 1/3 that of albacore. Eating it occasionally, alongside plenty of leafy greens and antioxidant-rich foods, helps the body manage small toxin loads more effectively. Always consult a doctor before making significant dietary changes, or if experiencing unexplained fatigue, tremors, or cognitive decline. The larger lesson is about awareness rather than fear. Convenience should never replace caution, especially in later years when every organ works a little harder to keep balance. Opening a can may save a few minutes, but choosing wisely can add years of clarity and vitality. True nourishment is not only about what fills the plate, it's about protecting the mind and heart that enjoy it. We've reached the halfway point of our journey together, uncovering 5 familiar types of fish that many believed were harmless, but, in truth, hide dangers capable of quietly harming memory, heart, and longevity. Some of these may even appear on your own dinner table, do they? Share your thoughts in the comments below, but there's no need for worry, because the sea also offers choices that heal instead of harm. Up next, we'll explore 5 remarkable kinds of fish that can nourish the brain, strengthen the heart, and help every older adult live with clarity, strength, and joy. Number 1, wild salmon, the longevity champion. On the crisp coast of Oregon, 74-year-old Eleanor Hayes begins most mornings with a walk along the harbor and a small serving of grilled wild salmon. It's a ritual she started after her doctor warned of early signs of heart disease. Within months, her cholesterol dropped, her blood pressure stabilized, and she felt clearer in the head than she had in years. Her story is far from unique. It reflects what countless studies have confirmed about the extraordinary power of wild salmon in healthy aging. Wild salmon is often called liquid gold for the brain. Unlike its farmed cousin, it roams freely in cold, clean waters, feeding on krill and plankton rich in omega-3 fatty acids and astaxanthin, the pigment that gives its natural coral hue. These nutrients are vital to older adults because they directly protect brain cells from inflammation and oxidative stress. Researchers from Harvard Medical School have found that seniors who consume wild salmon twice a week have a 47% lower risk of cognitive decline and a 39% reduction in fatal heart events. Every bite helps neurons communicate smoothly, keeping memory sharp and mood stable. The benefits don't stop at the brain. Wild salmon delivers highly digestible protein that prevents muscle loss, a key factor in maintaining independence later in life. It's also a natural source of vitamin D and selenium, which strengthen bones and support immunity. Unlike farmed salmon, which carries excess omega-6 fats and potential contaminants, wild salmon offers purity that the aging body can trust. The difference is not just nutritional, it's biological. Farm fish may fill the stomach, but wild salmon nourishes the cells that define vitality. For practical use, doctors often suggest seniors include 4 to 6 ounces of wild salmon twice a week, prepared simply grilled, baked, or steamed to preserve its oils. Pairing it with olive oil, lemon, and dark green vegetables enhances absorption of its healthy fats. Anyone managing chronic illness or taking medication should consult a healthcare provider before changing diet. But for most, this fish is one of the safest and most rewarding foods available. What makes Eleanor's story inspiring isn't the science alone, but the quiet wisdom behind her choice. She didn't chase trends or miracle cures. She returned to nature's rhythm. In her words, I realized the ocean had been giving us medicine all along. We just forgot how to listen. That is the essence of wild salmon, food that heals, sustains, and reminds that aging well is not about resisting time, but about feeding life with honesty and care. Number 2, sardines, the humble brain food. Sometimes the greatest treasures come in the smallest packages. Sardines, often overlooked on crowded supermarket shelves, are one of the most powerful allies for aging brains and hearts. In the 1,950 seconds, when families along the coast of Maine relied on simple foods to survive harsh winters, sardines were a staple. They were inexpensive, nourishing, and long before science could explain why, people noticed that elders in these fishing towns stayed sharp well into their 80s. Today, science confirms what tradition always knew. Sardines are tiny but mighty. Each small fillet is packed with omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA that act as natural protectors of brain cells. After age 60, the brain begins to lose some of its ability to regenerate neurons. DHA works like oil in an engine, keeping those delicate neural connections smooth and efficient. A 2022 study from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience revealed that older adults with higher DHA levels had up to 50% slower cognitive decline than those who rarely ate oily fish. Sardines also deliver calcium, vitamin D, and phosphorus in one of the most bioavailable forms found in nature, helping prevent bone loss and fractures that often rob seniors of mobility. What makes sardines even more remarkable is their purity. Because they live short lives and feed near the bottom of the food chain, they contain almost no mercury or pollutants. That means older adults can enjoy them regularly without fear of toxic buildup. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration lists sardines among the safest seafood options for pregnant women and seniors alike, a rare endorsement in today's complex food world. Nutritionists often call sardines a whole meal in a can. Combined with whole grain toast, olive oil, and a squeeze of lemon, they provide protein, healthy fats, and antioxidants in perfect balance. For those living alone or with limited energy to cook, sardines offer independence, a reminder that healthy eating doesn't require complexity or wealth. One can, opened with intention, can be a quiet act of self-care. A patient once described her first week adding sardines to breakfast. It wasn't glamorous, but I could feel my energy shift like my mind woke up earlier than my body. That is the subtle magic of nutrient-dense food. Over time, those tiny fillets strengthen memory, stabilize mood, and protect the heart. Always consult a doctor before making major dietary changes, especially when managing chronic conditions. But know this, sardines are one of nature's simplest gifts, proof that true nourishment isn't found in luxury, it's found in wisdom. For anyone entering the golden years, eating sardines is less about diet and more about dignity. It's a small daily gesture that says, my mind still matters and I choose to keep it alive. Number 3, Atlantic mackerel, the ocean's energy keeper. Food is not just fuel, it is information that tells your body how to age. Those words from Dr. Mark Hyman, one of America's leading physicians in functional medicine, capture perfectly the wisdom behind choosing fish like Atlantic mackerel. For older adults who wish to stay mentally sharp and physically steady, few foods communicate better with the body's biology than this modest, silvery fish. Atlantic mackerel swims in the cold, clean waters of the North Atlantic, growing fast and living briefly. That short life is nature's built-in protection, less time to accumulate mercury and other toxins. What it gathers instead is pure nutrition, abundant omega-3 fatty acids, selenium, and vitamin B12, a trio that strengthens the heart, energizes muscles, and defends the mind from decline. A 2023 Journal of Gerontology and Nutrition study reported that older adults who ate oily fish like Atlantic mackerel 3 times per week reduced their risk of stroke by more than half and cut dementia risk by 43%. Researchers credit this to mackerel's perfect ratio of EPA and DHA, 2 fatty acids essential for preserving memory and maintaining calm, steady heart rhythm. Its value doesn't end with brain and heart health. Selenium found in mackerel acts as a molecular shield against oxidative stress, the silent wear and tear that accelerates aging. Combined with B12, it supports red blood cell production, helping deliver oxygen efficiently throughout the body. Many seniors notice that regular servings of Atlantic mackerel lead to improved stamina, better focus, and deeper sleep. Preparation is wonderfully simple. A fillet brushed with olive oil and lemon, grilled for a few minutes, becomes a meal that tastes of the sea and restores the body at once. Its rich flavor pairs beautifully with roasted vegetables or fresh green. Nutritionists often suggest 2 4-ounce servings per week, though anyone managing heart or thyroid conditions should first consult a physician to tailor intake safely. What makes Atlantic mackerel truly remarkable is its honesty. It asks for nothing extravagant, no sauces, no complicated recipes, and yet offers nutrients powerful enough to slow aging at the cellular level. In an era when so much food is processed, packaged, and distant from nature, this small fish reminds that vitality still lives in simplicity. Eating it is not about chasing youth, but honoring life itself. Choosing every meal as a message to the body. Stay strong, stay clear, stay beautifully alive. Number 4, rainbow trout, the gentle healer. 2 friends from Colorado, both in their late 60s, shared the same love for fishing but lived with opposite outcomes. Harold, a retired accountant, often bought frozen convenience meals, rarely cooking for himself. His mornings began with stiffness in the knees and a foggy mind that seemed to thicken with age. Meanwhile, Samuel, once a mountain ranger, kept an old habit alive, casting his line in the clear streams of the Rockies, catching rainbow trout for dinner twice a week. Their paths diverged quietly over the years. Harold's visits to the doctor grew more frequent, while Samuel continued hiking, reading, and laughing easily through his 70s. The difference, as one physician later noted, lay in what they fed their bodies and minds. Rainbow trout, often overshadowed by flashier fish, is one of America's purest and most nourishing sources of protein. Raised primarily in cold, well-regulated freshwater systems across the U.S., it carries minimal contaminants and offers a perfect balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fats. This equilibrium is vital for older adults as it helps regulate blood pressure, reduce joint inflammation, and stabilize mood. A 2023 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that seniors who included rainbow trout or similar freshwater fish in their diets twice weekly maintained stronger cognitive performance and 30% lower inflammatory markers compared to non-fish eaters. Beyond fats, rainbow trout provides niacin and vitamin B6 nutrients that support healthy circulation and nerve function, ensuring oxygen and energy reach every cell. It's also rich in phosphorus and magnesium, minerals that strengthen bones and calm muscle tension. Many geriatric dietitians consider it a complete food for aging gracefully, combining gentle digestion with deep nourishment. Cooking rainbow trout is as simple as its nature. It needs little more than a drizzle of olive oil, a pinch of herbs, and a few minutes in a hot pan. The result is tender, mildly sweet, and deeply satisfying without heaviness. For those seeking an alternative to red meat, it offers fullness without the fatigue. Doctors often recommend 4 to 6 ounces per serving, twice weekly, as part of a balanced Mediterranean-style diet. Anyone with chronic health conditions should consult their physician before significant dietary adjustments, but most find trout to be a safe and energizing addition. In truth, the story of Harold and Samuel isn't about privilege, it's about awareness. Both men lived by the same mountains, breathed the same air, and shared the same opportunities. Only one listened to what his body quietly asked for: cleaner food, closer to nature. Rainbow trout embodies that wisdom. It doesn't promise miracles, but it proves that simple choices, made consistently, can draw the line between decline and vitality. For older adults, that line is the difference between merely growing old and continuing to live well. Number 5, herring, the forgotten memory guardian. Imagine standing by a quiet northern harbor at dawn. The water glimmers pale silver, gulls circle above, and fishermen haul in barrels of small, glistening herring. The air smells of salt and light. In that simple scene lies a secret that has sustained generations of people across Scandinavia and Northern Europe, one that modern science is only now rediscovering. Herring, humble and unassuming, has long been a quiet guardian of memory and longevity. This small fish is packed with DHA, the most essential omega-3 fatty acid for brain health. DHA forms the very structure of neurons, the brain's communication network. Without enough of it, signals slow down, memory weakens, and focus fades. Researchers at the Journal of Neurology reported in 2023 that seniors who ate herring or similar cold water fish twice a week had a 63% lower risk of dementia compared to those who rarely ate fish. The reason is simple. DHA doesn't just nourish the brain, it repairs it. It strengthens the lipid membranes that protect neurons and keeps inflammation, the enemy of mental clarity, under control. Herring's nutrients extend beyond the mind. Each serving offers vitamin D for strong bones, selenium for immune protection, and vitamin A for vision and skin renewal. Unlike large predatory fish, herring lives briefly and feeds low on the food chain, making it remarkably clean and free of mercury. This purity allows older adults to enjoy it regularly without concern. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show that seniors with steady intake of selenium-rich fish experience fewer infections, better wound healing, and improved energy metabolism. Culturally, herring has deep roots in America's northern heritage. In parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin, where Scandinavian traditions remain alive, families still gather during holidays to share pickled or smoked herring, a symbol of resilience through long winters. What seems like nostalgia is, in truth, ancestral wisdom. Those who keep the custom often show sharper memory and stronger bones well into their 80s. Preparing herring at home can be simple and delightful. It can be grilled fresh, marinated in vinegar and herbs, or enjoyed canned with olive oil. Pairing it with rye bread, onions, and a touch of lemon makes for a meal that nourishes body and memory alike. Doctors recommend about 4 ounces 2 or 3 times a week, though anyone managing chronic illness should first consult a healthcare professional. Herring teaches an elegant truth about aging. The smallest, most unassuming things often hold the greatest power. It reminds that longevity doesn't come from exotic diets or expensive supplements, but from listening to nature's quiet intelligence. In every silver shimmer of this tiny fish lies a promise that it is never too late to protect memory, renew energy, and live each day with the clarity of the morning sea. After exploring the 10 remarkable choices from the ocean, the 5 to avoid and the 5 to embrace, one truth becomes clear. Aging well is not about luck, it is about awareness. The ocean mirrors life itself, generous yet unpredictable, capable of healing or harm depending on what we choose to take from it. The stories we've shared from Mrs. Palmer in Oregon to Samuel in Colorado reveal a timeless lesson. The right foods do not just fill the stomach, they fuel the mind. repair the heart, and bring calm to the soul. Swordfish, king mackerel, and farmed salmon may look impressive on a dinner plate, but they carry invisible burdens, mercury chemicals, and inflammation that slowly steal the strength and clarity every older adult deserves. In contrast, wild salmon, sardines, rainbow trout, Atlantic mackerel, and herring prove that nature still offers pure, life-giving nourishment. These smaller, cleaner fish don't just sustain the body. They help preserve memory, protect the heart, and strengthen the quiet independence that defines aging with dignity. The lesson is simple but profound. Health after 65 is not about restriction. It is about refinement. Food becomes both medicine and message. Every meal tells the body something, either to inflame or to heal, to weaken or to restore. The goal is not perfection, but balance. Even the healthiest foods, eaten without moderation, can lose their benefit. Listen to your body, vary your meals, and always consult your doctor or nutritionist before making major dietary changes, especially if managing chronic conditions. Aging is not a race against time, but a dialogue with it. The ocean's wisdom reminds us that simplicity, consistency, and mindfulness matter more than trends or supplements. By choosing wisely, anyone can transform the act of eating into an act of self-respect. These choices do not require wealth, only attention. A can of sardines, a serving of wild salmon, a plate of grilled trout, each can become a quiet victory against decline. If this journey has opened your eyes or inspired you to rethink what lands on your plate, share your thoughts below. Have you tried any of these healthier fish? What traditions or recipes keep you connected to the sea and to health? Your experiences may help others discover the same hope and clarity. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because our next stories will take you even deeper into the science and soul of longevity. Share this video with someone you care about, and let's continue spreading the wisdom of living better, not just longer. Thank you for watching. May your next meal be chosen with awareness, enjoyed with gratitude, and remembered with joy. Wishing you a day filled with peace, purpose, and good health, because the best years are still ahead.